Hope Logan had always believed that truth, no matter how painful, was better than a lie. But the truth she uncovered on a quiet Tuesday morning in her mother's studio shattered more than her faith. It fractured the very foundation of her family. She was there to review fabric samples for the next Hope for the Future collection, casually searching for a misplaced swatch book on Brooke's work desk, when her fingers brushed a small, inconspicuous USB drive wedged beneath a stack of invoices. Curious, she plugged it in. What played on the screen wasn't a promo reel or a design draft. It was a grainy, time-stamped video, silent, handheld, covert. And the setting was unmistakable. The private office of Brooke Logan. Inside Hope's breath caught in her throat as she watched Brooke lean forward, across her glass desk, speaking in hushed but intense tones to none other than Justin Barber, former fixer for Bill Spencer, now a direct liaison for Spencer Publications. Their conversation was muffled by the poor quality, but the content was crystal clear. They weren't discussing a fashion campaign. They were negotiating terms. Terms for Spencer Publications to act. Hope couldn't breathe. She couldn't think. The betrayal struck like a slap across the soul. Her mother, her guiding light, her champion, was plotting, behind closed doors, to hand Forrester to the company that had tried for decades to destroy its legacy. And even worse, she was doing it with Spencer, the empire that once nearly dismantled Hope's life more than once. And the kicker, according to the date on the file, this meeting happened 3 weeks ago, long before the last board meeting. Long before Brooke staring at the Hope didn't be with Dev Owen and he returned to Los Angeles within days, stepping off a private jet with charisma, poise, and a surprise bombshell. He had just secured funding from a Gulf sovereign wealth fund to construct a fashion mega-complex, directly Acros, but BR the optic behind closed doors. Ridge rallied Steffi, Thomas, and Eric to push Brooke out of all operational decisions. The board voted to strip her of temporary consulting power. Hope publicly remained neutral but told Liam's sister, Kelly, that everything feels upside down now. The fashion press was ablaze. Brew meanwhile, Steph the F.A. Brooke was she co-Hope plead Brooke's silent for the next day, because in the bold, power never, and this she was writing the next chapter. In her own ink. On her own terms. And for the first time, the House of Forrester wasn't facing a rival. It was facing a revolution. The wedding was hours away. The floral arrangements were pristine, the guest list was exclusive, and the fashion world buzzed with anticipation. Brooke Logan's estate had never looked more magnificent, draped in ivory silks and gardenia blooms. Hope Logan stood in front of her full-length mirror, moments from putting on her gown, about to marry Carter Walton, an alliance that shocked many, intrigued others, and felt to Hope like the beginning of a long-deserved peace after years of emotional wreckage. Liam was gone. Her heart would never fully recover, but Carter had offered steadiness, safety, and a sense of purpose. The man had stood by her through grief and chaos, and now he was ready to build something new. Hope believed she was too. Until the knock came. Justin Barber, once the fixer behind Spencer Publications, now working as an independent legal consultant, arrived unannounced, walking straight through the front gate under urgent orders. In his hand was a black envelope sealed with a signature Hope recognized immediately: Liam Spencer's. She felt her pulse freeze. Her fingers trembled as she opened it. Inside, a notarized, time-stamped legal addendum to Liam's will, dated just days before his final decline. It was a conditional clause, never discussed, never mentioned in their private conversations or legacy videos. It read, "If Hope Logan enters into a marriage or formal domestic partnership with any party other than myself after my death, she may inherit all property and financial holdings previously designated. only if the ceremony is formally annulled or cancelled prior to its completion. In the event that the marriage is finalized, the will is to be voided and my estate transferred in full to the Douglas Logan Trust, to be held until the beneficiary reaches the age of 25. Hope stared in stunned silence. Justin cleared his throat. I was instructed to deliver this only if the marriage proceeded past rehearsal. That point has now passed. He placed a second file on the table, a statement of assets. Liam had left everything to Hope: properties, trust funds, stocks, intellectual rights from his stake in Spencer Publications. But only if she walked away from Carter. Hope couldn't breathe. She didn't even need the money. That wasn't the point. The implications went deeper. It was the idea that Liam, her lost, beloved Liam, had made one final plea from the grave. A posthumous condition designed not to control, but to protect. From what? From whom? That answer didn't come immediately. But Carter's reaction did. Carter walked in moments later, saw the documents, read them in seconds. He said nothing. His jaw clenched. His hands shook. Then he asked one question. Is this really what he wanted? What followed was a storm of emotion and strategy. Bill Spencer arrived within the hour. Wyatt followed shortly after. Bill was livid, demanding to review the document, calling it a twisted last-minute manipulation. Wyatt, more cautious, advised Hope to delay the ceremony until legal clarity could be obtained. Brooke sided with her daughter, but pleaded for caution. Ridge offered his resources. But the person who responded with the most fury was Carter. He didn't scream. He didn't accuse. But within 24 hours, Carter filed an injunction with the Superior Court of Los Angeles challenging the validity of the clause on multiple grounds: emotional duress, lack of capacity due to Liam's declining health, and potential tampering by unknown parties. The battle lines were drawn. Hope became the center of a war she never asked for. Carter's legal team, backed quietly by Ridge, argued that Liam's neurological deterioration rendered any final documents questionable at best. Bill countered with medical records, testimony from Liam's palliative care team, and time-stamped digital backups showing the will had been updated while Liam was fully lucid. Wyatt added fuel to the fire by revealing something even more volatile. Just days before his death, Liam had confided in him that he feared Carter had ulterior motives, that his interest in Hope wasn't about love, but access. When questioned under deposition, Wyatt recited Liam's exact words: Carter's too smooth. Too perfect. He's building a future, not a relationship. Carter fired back by subpoenaing Liam's medical history, arguing that any clause crafted under physical and mental deterioration was potentially compromised. That opened the floodgates. Hope was now forced to defend Liam's memory and mental clarity on the record, exposing a past he had desperately tried to keep private. Confidential therapy logs, palliative medication details, even private recordings surfaced. Liam had struggled more than anyone knew. And within those files, Carter's team found something explosive: notes from Liam's psychologist suggesting that he was plagued by recurring hallucinations and cognitive lapses in the final month. Entries that could invalidate any legal decisions made in that window. Bill exploded. You're going to drag my dead son's reputation through the dirt just to get access to Hope? Carter's response was cold. I'm protecting her from a legacy built on grief and control. But then came the twist no one expected. Justin, under pressure to validate the timeline, revealed an encrypted thumb drive Liam had asked him to hold until Hope's wedding day. On it was a video. Hope played it alone at first. But within minutes, she called everyone back into the room. The recording was clear, dated, and spoken directly into the camera. Liam, dressed in his favorite hoodie, sitting by the fireplace, eyes tired but mind sharp. Hope, If you're watching this, it means you found someone. I hope it means you're happy. But if it's Carter, I need you to think twice. He's not a bad man. But he's not your man. He doesn't know you like I do. He doesn't challenge you, and he doesn't calm you. He builds safety, not joy. And I want more for you than that. That's why I did what I did. Not to punish, but to remind you, don't settle. Even if I'm not there to fight for you, you still deserve the kind of love that never backs down. The room fell silent. Even Carter stood motionless. And Hope? She wept. What followed wasn't legal. It was emotional. Hope walked outside, stood beneath the oak tree Liam had proposed to her under the first time, and asked herself the only question that mattered. Was she marrying Carter out of love or out of loneliness? She canceled the ceremony that night. The press exploded. Headlines speculated wildly. Hope Logan walks out at the aisle. Liam's ghost shakes LA. Spencer inheritance battle erupts. But Hope didn't speak to the media. Not yet. She met with Carter in private. Apologized. Thanked him. Released him. There was no anger. Only sadness. Carter understood. And he left without another word. The court later ruled the clause valid. Hope inherited Liam's estate, but she refused most of it, transferring the majority into the Douglas Logan Trust, just as Liam had structured it. Bill and Wyatt reconciled with Hope, and Spencer Publications issued a statement praising her strength and integrity. Brooke offered to rebuild her daughter's public image. Ridge tried to mend fences. Hope declined. She went quiet. Took Beth. Moved up north for a while. But the final image, the one that stuck with everyone, came weeks later when Hope returned quietly to Liam's grave. Alone. No cameras. No press. She brought one thing, the wedding dress she never wore. She laid it at the base of the headstone and whispered, "You were right. I wasn't ready to say goodbye." Because in the bold and the beautiful, love doesn't always end when the heart stops beating. Sometimes it lives on, etched in paper, hidden in video, sealed with a will. And sometimes that love is powerful enough to stop a wedding, reclaim a legacy, and rewrite the future from beyond the grave.